Hello, I'm Anthony David Hobbs, and this is my review of Red Dwarf 2, Episode 6. And, basically, it's different. The opening sequence is very different to what we've seen before. When an astronaut is painting the red letters where it says Red Dwarf on the spaceship, that's the opening sequence of every episode. Well, no, not this one. No, that is gone forever. The last episode was the last time we will see that. No. This one, the opening sequence is Lister, Rimmer, and the cat all singing a song, tongue-tied, and doing perfect dance choreography to it in a big TV studio. And Holly, the computer, is bopping away as well, yeah. So, yes, very different. Is this the right program? What's going on? This is very different, yeah. And they're singing the song tongue-tied because getting nervous when you're trying your luck on someone. Yeah, that theme comes later, yeah. Danny John Jules, who plays the cat, yes, he was a professional dancer. So, yes, it shows, yes, his dance choreography is better than anyone else's, yeah. And, it is an amusing song and all that, but the thing I found slightly annoying as a child was, what's the title of this episode? Because the opening sequence is different, it doesn't say, yeah. So I just, until further notice, of what I'll call this episode Holly Hop, because the Holly Hop is important later. And then years later I found out, no, this episode is called Parallel Universe. Okay, so yeah, I found out what it was called. Anyway, what's all that dancing about? Well, the cat is watching the dream recorder. Yeah, because you can record dreams in the future. And he sees the footage that we've just seen of everybody dancing, having a good time. And he goes, no, this is the wrong dream. Where's the one I'm after? Yeah. Where I settle down with about 10 girlfriends, yeah. And Rimmer says, you're disgusting. Don't you want a committed relationship? And the cat says, yes. When I settle down with the right 10 women, yes, I'll be happy then. Dear me, he has a really vulgar, coarse view on relationships. And Lister says, oh yeah, that's rich coming from a man whose favourite book is How to Pick Up Girls Using Hypnosis. You know. Well, no, not just that. The other book, it's a book of chat-up lines. There is no such thing as a manual for chat-up lines. They don't work, you know. No, they do. I'm going to try. Well, you pretend to be a girl that's sitting by the bar, and this chat-up line always works, always. Hi there. Would you like to join me in a cocktail? No. Well, you can't say no. It doesn't work if you say no. All right, okay, say yes. And then he says, I'm going to get a cocktail called a worm do. What's that then? And Rimmer's like, no, you're not saying the right replies. Well, what is the right reply? In other words, when you're chatting with anyone, you've got to be prepared for the unpredictable. Otherwise, it doesn't work word for word. Yeah. What's a worm do? It wiggles about on the ground. Oh, it's terrible, cringe-worthy chat-up lines. You couldn't pull anyone with that. Then Holly gets everyone's attention. Guess what? I've invented something. A great invention. Plato invented the plate. The Greeks invented the wheel. Macintosh invented the Macintosh. And now I, the great computer Holly, have invented the Holly Hop drive. Holly Hop? What on earth is that? Well, because you can hop, or jump, metaphorically, get somewhere really quickly, instantly, in a matter of seconds. What, you mean it's more advanced than the speed of light? Yes. You mean we could go back to Earth? Yep. What do you mean we could go back to Earth? Right now. Rock and roll, yeah. So, yes, they're all very excited, and then Lister goes, right, where's the controls? And he goes, is this it? It's just a box with Holly Hop written on it, and 2 buttons with start and stop written on. Is that it? And Holly says, yes. If you want to start it, you press the start button. I'll leave you to work out the rest of the controls for yourself, yeah. So they press it, they go, zoom. Where are we? It's worked, we've done it. We've gone incredibly fast, the speed of Holly Hop, yeah. And then Holly goes, wait a minute, the Earth, it's gone. What, the Earth has gone? Oh no, it's all right, I was looking out the wrong window. There's another look. No, it has gone. The Earth has disappeared. It's nowhere in sight. In fact, there's no moons, no planets, nothing but deep space everywhere. Rimmer suggests, is it possible that we haven't travelled millions of miles in a matter of seconds? Is it possible we haven't actually moved an inch and that your machine is useless? And Holly goes, no, it does work. It's just there's something not quite right. And then he goes, oh, look, there's another spaceship out there. Aliens, says Rimmer. Oh, great, let's go and check it out. And then Holly works out what's happened. By billions of calculations, something went slightly wrong. We haven't travelled millions of miles. No, we've crossed the 5th dimension. Now, the 5th dimension is reality. We're in a different reality. We've entered a parallel universe. Now, parallel universes exist. They're like two bodies side by side, but unaware of the other one's existence. That sounds like my parents in bed, says Rimmer. Yeah. So this is identical to our universe. No, there will be some differences. Like Hitler won World War II, or the Cold War went on for 200 years instead of just 50 years. Yeah, there'll be a lot of things the same, but there will be a few subtle differences here and there. Yeah, and they see a copy of Red Dwarf. How is that possible? I thought this was the only Red Dwarf. Well, obviously we've entered another dimension, and that will be the same as ours, except a few differences inside. Okay, so they go inside the other Red Dwarf that looks identical on the outside, and they take one of the scutters as well. And the scutters, it's just an arm, robot arm, is all black. He sees a pink scutter. And yes, they go on a date. They go off together down the corridor, yeah. Then they find the crew. It's a female hologram of Rimmer, a female version of Lister. And they go, oh, right, okay. Oh, and before that, they meet Hilly, which is a female version of the computer, the female equivalent of Holly. And they go, oh, right, okay. And he goes, it's Deborah Lister and Arlene Rimmer. Okay, yes. And the two Rimmers both salute each other. And they find out holograms can touch each other. Yeah, she pats them on the back like that, yeah. And they go, well, what's going on? And then Lister says, all right. So he says to Deborah, can you give us a bit of backstory? What's going on here? So you live in a female-dominated society. And Deborah says, well, it's not 100% female-dominated anymore. You know, back in the 1960s, when men demanded equal rights and they burnt the jock straps. Yeah, okay. What about your history? Who was the first man on the moon? It was a woman. Oh, all right. Who was the first woman on the moon? Nellie Armstrong. And who wrote all those Shakespeare plays? Oh, Wilma Shakespeare. All the classics like Rachel III and The Taming of the Shrimp. Okay, and then Rimmer sees, well, it looks like a magazine with lots of naked men in it. He goes, oh, this is disgusting. This is filthy. Yeah, these men are deformed. They've obviously had surgery on their bodies, and they're so big. It makes one feel rather inadequate. Yeah. And the other hologram says, oh, what's wrong with that? You're not one of those boring masculinists, are you? Yeah. And then the cat comes in and says, wait a minute, everybody. Isn't there somebody missing? Holly, female opposite. Rimmer, female opposite. Lister, female opposite. So where's mine? And Deborah says, oh, yeah, your opposite will be, well, sniffing around in the cargo decks. Wow, I'm going there. Don't anyone interrupt me. Yeah, all my life I've waited for this moment and now it has arrived. I'm going to get you, little kitty. And off he goes. Deborah says, I think he's in for a bit of a shock. His opposite isn't female. Well, what is it then? It's a dog. So that's a humanoid dog, yeah, in the cargo decks. And has fangs on the jaw, not on the upper lip, on the jaw. It's opposite, yeah. And scratches himself every now and again like a dog and has big scruffy beard like a shaggy dog, yeah. And where's everyone gone? They know that I don't like being left alone because I'm a dog, yeah. And then the cat goes up and the look of disappointment on the cat's face. That's not a female cat. That's not even a cat. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, God. And the dog says, wow, you're a good friend to play with. I tell you what, if I sniff you, you can sniff me. Is that agreed? You want to what? Don't you want to sniff me? I could smell you if you were on Mars. God, you smell revolting. Oh, when did you last take a bath? No, don't say that word. What, bath? No, you said it again. Now look, if you must say that word, please spell it. Okay. When did you last take a bath? What's that? Okay. And then after that, yes, Holly and Hilly are getting to work to fix the Hollyhock drive, yeah. And they have like a big disco. And Rimmer is chatting with, well, Arlene Rimmer. And she tries her luck at him. She uses awful, cringeworthy chat-up lines. And he sees through it because back in the day, he used the same cringeworthy chat-up lines, yeah, on board Red Dwarf, yeah. And she says, you're dressed provocatively. You're a bit of totty. With those tight trousers, you're begging for it. And starts groping him and tries to snog him. And Rimmer says, I am not totty. I am not begging for anything. Now leave me alone. And he's disgusted. Yes, Rimmer can't get along with anyone. He can't get along with, in the previous series, he can't get along with a copy of himself. And he can't get along with the female version of him. Rimmer can't get along with anyone. The cat can't get along with the dog at all, naturally, because cats and dogs are opposites. And at one point the cat says, hey, dog, you're a great conversationalist. But I haven't said anything yet. Exactly, yeah. Lister gets along a bit better with the female version of him, yeah. And they both love getting drunk a lot, yeah. And then, yes, the next day, we find Deborah and Dave been sleeping in the same bed. They wake up. It looks like they've had a one-night stand. And Rimmer's like, you pieces of filth. And then Arlene Rimmer says to Dave Lister, says, I hope you get pregnant, you dirty little scrubber. What? Well, in this universe, men get pregnant. Since when? Since always, you know. I guess, what? And then Rimmer goes, in their universe, men get pregnant. You could be up the spout. Yeah, listy. Oh, things are looking bleak for you. Yeah, and Lister goes, no, this is not possible, is it? And Holly says, I'm afraid it is physically possible, yeah. So, in other words, they live in a universe, a society where if you give birth to babies, you are inferior, yeah. Well, in real life, I think the Amazon tribeswomen would beg to differ in that. Yeah, women get pregnant, but the Amazons, it's a female-dominated society. Yes, their only purpose is to cook and clean and make the babies, and that's it. Everything else is controlled by the women, yeah. So it's not as simple as that. No, you don't automatically become inferior just because you give birth to babies, no. And the Lily Trotter, that's a female-dominated society, yeah. And the other thing is, on a serious note, so men just go sleep around, you know, just very casual and carefree because there's no risk of them getting pregnant. But if you're male, you can get STDs. Yeah, you're not completely safe. No, you've got to be careful whether you're male or female, yeah. And also, earlier in the story, when Arlene Rimmer, she's overconfident and using terrible chat-up lines on Rimmer, well, that's it's saying how women don't like it when men are overconfident and you know, just very expectant and presumptuous, yeah. And it's annoying, and to express how annoying it is, we do a bit of role reversal, a vulgar woman trying her luck on a man. So I think whether you're male or female, don't be creepy, basically. Yes, treat both genders with respect, yeah. Anyway, this is deadly serious stuff. Lister is possibly pregnant. And then we see the two robots, the two scutters. They've got little robots with them. Oh, they've had babies, yeah. Anyway, they've got to go back to their own universe. If they don't go back now, they may never return. So Lister, Rimmer and the cat go back to our universe of the Hollyhock. And, well, they do a pregnancy test. Is Lister pregnant? Yeah, it's red for pregnant, blue for not pregnant. And then Holly says, I've had a sudden thought. In the previous series, Series 1, we had a photograph of Lister holding two baby boys. And Rimmer said, how can you have babies if there's not a woman on board the ship? And Lister said, I don't know, but it's going to be a lot of fun finding out. Oh, how right you were, Lister, yeah. And Lister's like, twins? Oh, no, you must be joking. No. Yes, they were big, strapping, tough, stocky boys. Huge heads. Yeah, oh, no. And Lister's dreading getting pregnant, yeah. And Rimmer says, wait, it's changing colour. The colour's coming. What colour is it? What colour? It's blue for not pregnant. Yes, what colour is it? Oh, good news, Lister, good news. Oh, thank God. I'm going to be an uncle. What a great line. That's the end. That's the end of the episode, the end of the series. So what a cliffhanger. What a way to end it all on, yeah. And I remember being intrigued. What's going to happen? They're going to raise children now and all that. We will have to wait to find out because that is the end of Series 2, yeah. So yes, it does raise certain issues, yeah, when the physical rules are different, like who gives birth to the babies. The rules are different here and there, yeah. A different universe, different society. And yes, it did raise a lot of jokes here and there, yeah. It's, yes, men wouldn't like being oppressed, would they? No. So in the same way, women shouldn't be allowed to oppress men. Yes, the gender should try and get along. So yes, it was very funny and raised some interesting scientific points. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs and I'm never bored.